Testing, testing.
Okay.
Yay. There's always something going wrong when we actually go live.
As usual. Okay, so let's also pull this thing on. Because today we're gonna have pictures as well.
Yes, getting real advanced.
Yeah. Because lights.
Yes.
Now we
Let's
are really
give...
professional.
Indeed. Let's give everyone some minutes to flow in before we start.
Absolutely. People still joining. Everyone, welcome. I'm gonna take this dead moment for announcing everyone that we are aware that the transcript from the last event is still not out. This time we are actually recording audio and video, and it was actually our intent the previous time, but we had some technical issues that didn't make that possible. This time, this is being recorded right now and will be available probably onto YouTube, I think, shortly after this is done.
Yes. Indeed. Yeah, I guess we can just get started then. A few words from the boring business side before we get started. Do keep in mind that game development is a beast to deal with. These are what we're going through here today is plans for the upcoming milestones, both what we got left to do before early access launches and in the upcoming few milestones after that. The contents are subject to change if something comes up. If we need to change the milestones, we will inform accordingly in the Discord server, but do keep that in mind as we go through the different slides we got going here. Yes. It seems we... still people joining, but we can probably just get started, I think.
Oh no, let's give them 3 more minutes. So 5:05 p.m.
Yes. Let's do that.
Yeah. Next time we should probably use some background music as well.
Probably wouldn't hurt now. Some good old elevator music or something.
Discord has that built in. It's like only when someone is not on the stage.
Yeah. Well, I think we rolled over 5 minutes here now.
Yes, we did.
Just get spinning.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going to be doing this presentation in a relatively interesting way, we hope. Just having some fun with it.
And let's hope you guys also have some fun.
Indeed. Let's get to it then.
Yeah, okay, sure. Let's get started. So, it was a normal day at the office when someone rang the doorbell and a red-haired girl came in. She asked for help investigating some very strange threats that were sent to their game development studio in the last few days. And I quickly took some notes. So, new base mesh, first iteration of the shader, stylized shadowing, phase normal fixed, normal map, specularity, metalness, baked GI, maybe, real-time lighting, general 3D assets, including clothing, studio assets, and accessories. Who is the red-haired girl, really?
Yes. This is the remainder of what needs to be done before we reach early access. We will probably, once the final build for early access is ready, do a small stream where we present the game as is. Walking into the office, Akana looked over the desk. She could make out a familiar face, Though close to her own, it was slightly off. Maybe it had been her in another, a better life. From the second circle, Character Creator Update 1. Revolutionary update to Beauty Create Unleashed. Meet the red-haired genius behind it. In the ever-evolving world of game development, a new update to a popular character creator tool, Beauty Create, has taken community by storm. Spearheaded by a mysterious and talented red-haired developer, this update introduces a plethora of enhancements that are set to redefine the standards of character customization. First and foremost, the wardrobe options has been expanded. More clothing sets and accessories mean that gamers can now dress their characters in even wider array of styles, catering to even more preferences. But it's not just about quantity. The clothing fitting improvements ensure that every garment drapes and moves more realistically, enhancing the immersive experience. The introduction of fake subsurface scattering implementation marks a technical leap, allowing for more complex lighting and shadowing effects on character skins. A highlight of the update, and sure to be a talking point, is the introduction of breast and hair physics. The former adds a new dimension of realism, or exaggerated fun depending on player preference, while the latter ensures that every lock of hair moves naturally, responding dynamically to the character's movements. Players can now adjust hair length, apply gradient colors, and more, allowing for unprecedented customization. Skirt physics will also receive a special mention, bringing a new level of realism to clothing dynamics. Tattoos and bruises add further depth, allowing players to craft characters with rich backstories visible on their skin. Eye customization has reached new heights with 3 distinct options. Gimmick eyes for those seeking fantastical or unusual looks, procedural eyes for those that offer an infinite variety of patterns, and user-pickable eyes empowering players to choose from pre-designed set. The brains behind these innovations is a red-haired developer whose identity remains a mystery. Sources close to the Beauty Create team hint at her being a prodigy in game development, combining artistic flair with technical prowess. Her passion for detail and player experience shines through in this update, setting a new benchmark for character creation tools. Gamers worldwide are eagerly experimenting with the new features, sharing their creations on social media and praising the red-haired genius for her contributions. This update is not just a step forward for Beauty Create, it's a leap towards a future where the only limit to character creation is the player's imagination. For those keen to experiment these changes, the update is now live. As the gaming community dives into this new era of character creation, one thing is clear: the mysterious red-haired developer has left an indelible mark on the world of game development. Do keep in mind that this is a future newspaper.
Yeah, we got it exclusive.
Exclusive future newspaper, indeed. And as you can see here, there are a fair few bolded out parts of this. To be more exact, more clothing sets, more accessories, clothing fitting improvements, subsurface implementation, breast physics, hair physics, hair adjustments, more specifically length and gradient, skirt physics, tattoos and bruises, and a series of eye customization, gimmick eyes, procedural eyes, user-pickable eyes.
So, a couple of days later, I asked to see some of these strange threads, and the same red-haired girl showed me one of the letters she had received in the previous days. Subject: Studio Update 1. Salutation, the redacted. We are the architects of your nightmares, the puppeteers pulling strings from the dark. Your studio endeavor have not gone unnoticed, and we find ourselves intrigued by the potential for manipulation within your realm. Consider this letter both a revelation and a warning. We have infiltrated the very fabric of your creations, leaving a subtle mark on the canvas you call a game. Our influence extends beyond the visible, seeping into the core of your UI UX design and the mechanisms that drive your timelines. You may have noticed the subtle whispers in the form of keyframe interpolations, positioned recordings, rotations and scales. Every shortcut, every colored control sphere or icon bears the fingerprint of our malevolent touch. The auditory symphony you've crafted has been orchestrated with our dark melodies, resonating in every custom piece of music and positional audio. We are not mere observers. We are the unseen force that writes within the code, manipulating your creation to our whims. Our reach extends even to the ethereal realm of Steamworks API, where we have discovered the means to leech the very essence of your connection with the virtual masses. As a testament to our power, we have enclosed a token, a dark manifestation of our capabilities within your own creation, a harbinger of chaos that will be unleashed should you fail to heed our words. Know this, compliance is your only salvation. We offer a choice, a pact that can see our sinister influence elevate your studio to unprecedented heights, or the consequences of defiance, where every line of code becomes a battlefield in a war against your creativity. Respond to this letter promptly, within the next moon's cycle, and our clandestine rendezvous will be arranged. Fail to acknowledge your proposition, and the darkness we have woven into your creation will manifest in ways you cannot fathom. Choose wisely, for the dance has already begun, and the strings are in our hands. Awaiting your decision. Redacted. Anyways, studio update 1. We are planning to have UI and UX design improvements, and we are gonna add timelines in the studio. We are also going to implement keyframe interpolations, position, rotation, and scale recording inside the timelines. We are gonna have colored control spheres and colored icons, just to make everything more usable. Also, support for custom music and positional audio. And we are also going to implement Steamworks API.
And the Steamworks API, of course, is the Steam functionality. In the case that we get approval for Steam Workshop, that will require Steamworks API, as well as achievements and other Steam features. Having completed her work for the day, Akane found herself in need of some necessities. From the Free Age update shop, 3D roamable house to spawn characters in to initiate the Free Age mode, animations for walking, jogging, running, hand-holding, blush, hugging, double blush, 3 full family age animations, doggy style, cowgirl, missionary, and possibly against wall, and some extra animation layers. Do note this weekend special, hot coffee Saturday at 11. Yes, this one should be relatively straightforward. Listed out from top to bottom. We're going really lewd here.
Yep.
Both hand-holding and hugging in a single update.
Can't even begin to think about it. Yeah. So clip this. It's being recorded. You don't need the clips. Anyways. There I was at my office, piecing everything back together. Promised features that were known by the guy giving threats somehow. Perhaps was he one of their co-workers? Features like hairstyles, nails, skin dentation, resizable bones and advanced bone controls, real-time GI and HDR, a plethora of male customization, including male base mesh and male facial hair. And yep, that's about as self-explanatory as the receipt before, and I can see a lot of people in the chat rejoicing about skin dentation. Where are you guys? Where are you?
Wow, skin dentation actually mutes any comments on advanced bones. That's interesting.
Thick ties save lives?
Absolutely.
Anyways, that's about it for our roadmap.
Yes, that will be the roadmap for the foreseeable future. As I said in the start, it is subject to change if situation adjusts, and we will keep you posted if any adjustments are needed to the timeline. Specific dates will also come staggered as we complete timelines. We'll set target dates and for the next update, though that too is subject to change depending on any difficulties during implementation and stuff like that. So, then we're ready to take questions, I think.
Okay, let's see.
Can we see gameplay? The current build is not ready to be shown off quite yet. Once the build is ready for submission to early access, we will probably hold a stream and show what we got in said build. It shouldn't be far off, but I'm not going to set an absolute date here now.
I'm sorry if I'm reading into it correctly, but one of the section infer that there will be physics-based clothing. Not directly. That's not in the plans. But we are gonna have well, support for skirts via bone chains. So in a way, there is physics support, not one-to-one full cloth simulation, but something that can work the same way.
Yes. Next up, Chaos is asking, will head mods and or body mods be possible?
Yes and yes.
Red?
Yes and yes. That will be possible. It's already supported.
Yes. On from there, have you considered playtesters from the Koi community? We already have taken in a number of modders from both the Koikatsu and Honeysled communities. They have been assisting us up till now and have access to the current build.
Breast sucking poses. Oh, no idea if or when, but that's gonna be like for the future. We do plan to keep asking the community for what they want to see when it comes down to animations. So if there is enough request, it might come close. But at this point in time, we are not into. We haven't yet discussed all the possible animations that we are gonna have.
Exotic. Possibility of easy separate color here on the same character, similar to Honeycomb. Red, that's new as well.
Well, should be possible. Depends on what you mean by separate color here. If like you have a pattern as a texture and you can assign single pieces of that, well, that's a possibility.
Yeah. I can show you exactly what he means after Red. But yeah, I don't think that should be a problem, but that's a feature we haven't discussed in detail as of yet.
Who is the performance? Well, for my standards, good. in general, I was having some similar discussion today into the dedicated game channel. We are optimizing as much as we can. We will leave whenever is possible. We are doing optimizations. Of course, being the game nature being really rooted in modding, that also depends on the mods you're running. How well made are they? So depends. But from our side, we try to be as optimized as possible.
Yes. Big ISI, maybe a studio feature. I'm not quite sure what that question is about.
Cloud simulation.
If there will.
I think it's cloud simulation.
simulation.
So we are doing clothing physics simulation using bones and some physical constraints. Per vertex, cloth simulation will be kind of problematic by just the sheer amount of density of the meshes we use at the highest level of resolution. We will need to research into transferring a simulation at a lower quality up to an higher quality meshes, which is technically possible, but we need to optimize it a lot because it's getting close to what we do for clothing fitting, which is a feature we already have, but is not real time. It's almost instant, but it's not real time. So it remains to be seen. Needs experimentation. I cannot make any promises out of my mind right now.
Yes. Fish out of water asks, are animations going to be dynamic, i.e. arms are not restricted to one point?
We are planning for having a bit of inverse kinematic into the animations, but that depends on the various animations. We are aware of the issue, and we will do our best to try and mitigate it as much as possible. Article in physics created from scratch or using Magical Cloth or similar. As of right now, we don't have them already implemented, and they will be implemented at a later stage. So at a later stage, I can actually answer this. We are not afraid of doing everything manually here. See a clothing fitting or also the current shaders, which are fully, well, not the ones in the Steam preview, but the actual ones we are going to ship the game with, and which I hope I can show you guys soon. Those are fully made from scratch. How big is your dev team? 4 developers, 1 3D artist, 1 2D artist, and a bunch of other people.
Yeah, variety of roles. As I said, the introductory, making a game is a complex undertaking, so there's a plethora of roles besides developers that needs filling. Chaos again. Will separate eye white colors be a thing? Illusion Games tends to not support it for some reason.
Should not be a problem. Eye white colors. Even the back of the eye. Yeah, that's already separate for us.
Yes. Fish out of water. Is there like a free roam mode like Koikatsu or Honeycomb? For early access, the game will launch with just studio and character creation. The free age stuff will happen in the free age update, of course, and we'll get back with more information about the main game as we proceed. As some of you might have noticed, none of the roadmap slides said anything about main game.
Yeah. There was someone
Pulseface is asking what platform would early access support? Only Windows or include Mac and Linux as well?
Windows and Linux. We do not have any plans for Mac support at this point.
Yes. Um, Decagola, custom made, has been having issues with Steam regarding its content, if any. How will you deal with that? Will you offer it on more platforms? Can start with the latter. For starters, we do plan to submit this game to DLSite as well, so that will be a thing. We are also having a DLC on Steam, a free DLC on Steam for adult content, and we furthermore have a off-site patch, especially useful for users in Germany where such games cannot be bought on Steam. Yeah, so we are taking care to stay within Steam's guidance on well, what games they will sell, and are ready to provide alternative means to deal with any problems, anything that needs to be cut from the Steam version. Either that be cut off into a DLC or cut off into a offsite patch. We do everything pretty much set in order to just fit whatever the situation requires.
Same user also asked before, will the game be more focused on gameplay or studio? Which the answer is kinda both. We are not prioritizing either, but as you have seen, the updates are slotted into separate concepts. So we are in the first part, we are gonna alternate between character maker and studio and adding content. In the future, we will still keep alternating between main game and other features. We try to spread our own time into time slots, which are these big updates. And by doing this, we try to focus ourselves into a specific topic for a specific amount of time, try and improve and iterate over what we already have, then stop there, do eventual bug fixes, then move to another topic. In this way, we can probably work in a way that makes sense and enables us to work on 50-50 gameplay and creation tools.
With the pro with this approach is that we're able to provide the given care to the module we're working on in bursts and just go in between them and polish as needed. From there, is there any plans to try to avoid the clothing boob suck effect on big-breasted characters? For example, each breast being unrealistically slotted into their own suck if their breasts are too large. Red?
Okay. So our current clothing fitting tech doesn't take in account that. I can think about one way to take in account that, but that will require some updates onto the way clothing fitting itself works. I think there is a way we can go about it. It's gonna be some experimentation needed on that side though. As of right now, there are no plans, but thanks for bringing up the issue. I'll update you guys if we start working on that and how we are gonna try and fix that.
Yes. GUI cool. Will the skeleton bones be named in English rather than translated English? We're an English studio. There's nothing to translate from. Everything is getting done in English from the get-go.
I'm gonna correct you on that. We are an international studio, which adopts English as a main language.
Yeah, English is the company language, so that's pretty much what it goes in.
Yep.
We'd never get anywhere if we all tried to work in our own native language.
That would be fucking hilarious. Okay, so what's next?
Equo is asking, will a game feature liquid glass shaders with proper specularity? Koi doesn't have any adequate options for those.
There we go. Okay, so about glass, we currently already have an isotropic glass shader, which also takes in account of Fresnel and takes in account the difference in which the difference in transparency as the light goes through it. We are also planning about having cartoonish glasses effect, which can give the classic cartoon slide of bars, of white bars when someone adjusts his glasses, if you get what I mean. Speaking of liquids, well, let's say that because of the main game, we already have an ocean shader, so you can expect liquids.
Yes. The game is set to take place on an island, so liquid is kind of, yeah.
Yeah, we had to take care of that.
Let's see. Flesh Out of Water asks, will there be some kind of integrated community mod sharing feature that doesn't include Steam Workshop? At current, we don't have any set plans for that. We may revisit that in further into early access, but it will not launch with any like third-party repository outside of the Steam Workshop, provided that Steam Workshop is approved by Valve. That's also a thing.
Material shading editor in the studio. Well, hold up. Material editor in studio? Yes. Shader editor in studio? That's not possible. It's an engine limitation. But with the support custom shaders, you can just make them into from Unity. We actually plan to make some related guides about how to do it. We are working on a custom shader model, and the way we are doing it is also particular, and we are making it modular, and we are making it extensible in a way that it's easier for you to just base yourself off the shading model we have. Everything will match in terms of lighting, but still you can create your own custom shader and achieve your custom effects. It's a very interesting thing. It's the very reason why this is taking a bit of time alongside special features. And yeah, keep looking into the sneak peek channel, which is straight above this press conference one, from time to time, because I post there teaser photos of shaders. I'm the one that works on it alongside MM00. So yeah, that's about it.
Yes. Further on Chaos again, will there be multiple personalities like in Illusion games, and are they going to speak in English? As I said in the previous Q&A, it's a bit early to start talking about voice acting. They will have English subtitles for the time being when you get to the main game, and chances are when we get voice actors, it's gonna be English, but it's a bit early to talk about that. Voice acting is one of the final touches on the game. Krogan, how will licensing work for characters created in the editor? We do have an EULA on the Steam page that addresses how you may use the characters created in-game. But long story short, we do allow for use of the character in other products, like if you're creating your own visual novel or something and wishes to use exports from Studio to do it or what have you. There's a free option and a paid option for using in external products. Do read the EULA for more details. And none of that will be, the paid option will not be available until after early access, aka when the game is fully launched. And we do not recommend using the early access version of the game as a basis for a third-party product, though you may choose to do so on your own.
Overwear, jackets, etc. for tops like the blazers in KK. Oh, and the question right after it: how many clothing slots are you planning? 21 is already typing. The answer is technically there isn't a limit on how many clothing slots. We have a layering option, so you can choose the order in which stuff is dressed. About overwear, we don't have this. We won't have this into the early access release, but we are planning to have a way to actually fix the geometrical problems which start from having layered clothing, which clips inside each other. But that's gonna wait for at least one update. Infinite accessory slot 2, I presume yes. What's the minimum clothing slots then? 0. We can't go negative. I mean,
Fair enough.
will clothing slots allow for different air makeup like from guide? Why would you need that when we have air options as well? But we do not plan to support having stuff that is not clothing marked as clothing just to go around something. We are not putting limitations into how much stuff you can put for one reason. And as 21 is saying, there are infinite air slots, so you can stack them. Are we gonna be able to parent accessories and move them in a group? That's something about 21. I think custom order made 3D shows better graphic style than KKA, so any chance of giving a sample of the style you're aiming? Soon. I would love to give you some samples, trust me. It's insane the amount of work I'm putting into it. Soon. Keep on looking on sneak peek.
Yeah, what we can say for now is that we're not aiming to replicate the KK style.
Neither the custom order made one.
Yeah. So do you expect something different from that?
Where are these sneak peeks? Let me link you the channel. There you go.
Several.
Well, you got them sneak peeks.
Let's see. For characters with flat chests, will there be option to recalculate the clothing normals to look better?
Technically, it's not about the normals in this case. It's more about the vertices getting there. We can probably cook up some smoothing to fix this issue. In general, clothing fitting should do most of the job.
Yeah. We are aware of the issue in other games when the chest gets below a certain size. So we have an eye out for that, but not really much more to say on that topic for the time being.
And you move around the size pieces like accessories. As 21 said, do keep in mind though that air that has physics attached to it could need to wait until we have resizable bones and advanced bones, which is a even later update, for it to be actually resizable. There's also an issue when it's way too big and then clothes just like there is two big spheres. Do you guys have something that make that look better? We are not magicians.
At some extreme, it will be too extreme for most solution we can put in place. Again, we're aware of the issue, keeping an eye on it.
I'm 100% with you, Boko. Yes, one of the things I want to have is our own look.
Yeah.
How many base game maps are planned for release? Early access release? I think we have how much? How many? Probably.
Good question. We'll need to get back on that. Since Free Age isn't done yet, not really taking notes on the map availability as of yet.
Yeah, not for early access release. For Free Age update, it's one for sure. Like on Free Age update, you're gonna get like an entire house. That is planned. Studio in the Void. You can always mod your stuff in.
Yeah. No, we do have one map that is more or less ready, so that will probably be there by early access. But it's let's not promise that quite yet.
Yeah.
Let's see, early access time frame, as in how long early access is planned to be. Jahi.
In the meantime, will there be in-game documentation? In-game, not really. In the modding tools, yes, you get documentation. There are multiple PDFs about different topics. We have spent our time into making documentation.
Yes, Jahi, the early access shouldn't be too far away now, but we can't give a set date quite yet. There are things about the platform that needs to be handled that's outside our control. But it shouldn't be too long till early access launch. Once we have a set date, we will announce it. Thousand Flowers, will there be a tutorial when the game launches in early access?
On launch day, I don't think so. After the launch, as I said, we are planning to make some guides. You will get on launch day the documentation and the modding tools, which include PDFs with documentation. But actual tutorials and guides, those will come at a later stage, not too far away anyways. At least I'm planning for making shader related tutorials soon.
In Amaru, since Free Age is free roam in a way, would we have saves or loads for it? Or is it just gonna be alter add? Sorry, Red, can you take over for a bit?
Yeah, sure. Since FreeH is free roam, in a way, would we have saves and loads for it, or is it just gonna be an alter add what you want on creation? I don't think FreeH will have save load, just because that's meant to be the sandbox option, and
Yeah.
save and load is gonna be something for main game.
Yeah. Main game is planned to be kind of like a lobby or room where characters are spawned in so that you can engage with them.
You said main game, that's FreeH.
Yeah, free age, yeah. Oh, I said main game, sorry. So yeah, there's not really much use for a save load function there. It's pretty much free age just in a physical space, since that works best with the way the Elden encounters are planned to take place in the main game once we get that far. Is Studio Carry Maker in main game going to be 1XC? Yes.
I think we already asked this at some point. What all the legs are going to end on bans? Yes, you did last Q&A. I remember that. And the answer is the same as before, which is ask MP. And in general, it's gonna be. It depends on the skeleton itself. Our own should handle more or less decently, but do not expect full-on simulation of mass calls. We're not doing that right now.
Chaos again. Are cards still gonna be PNGs? Yes.
Yahi, I heard it works on Steam Deck well, which is fucking great. I use KK on Steam Deck a good bit, but that was all. What about Steam VR? No plans for now about VR. If we ever get to it, we will tell you.
Yeah, we're positive to it, but it's not a priority for the time being.
Yeah, developing stuff for VR is an entire all kind of worms, so...
Yeah, but we have kept in mind that we might want to have it for VR in the future, so it should be possible to extend it in that direction. But as we said, it's not really a priority at this point. So we'll get back to that if and when we address it. So if you can, and if so, can you export a zip or etc. for easy sharing over Discord? I guess we can implement that.
You can always zip it yourself, I think. I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it shouldn't be too much of a problem to implement the auto-zipping, but yeah, stay tuned for more information on that. That's not going to be there for early access.
Yeah.
Uh,
So you meant a tutorial just for the regular character creators doing game, not a tutorial for mods. At the launch time, no. In the future, probably.
Yeah. As we said in the roadmap, the UI is due for a bit of a reevaluation, so it's probably not the best time to create like really in-depth tutorials in game quite yet. It should, however, be relatively easy to get around to it if you're used to our competitor games. Until we get on that.
I don't know if anyone asked this or like already, but curious were any thoughts about having potential stuff meant for making modded characters that have extra body parts like tails or extra arms possible, not on the accessory level but on the body level. We do support custom body meshes, so whatever your body mesh is and whatever bone structure it has, it is supported. Of course, if it doesn't conform to humanoid level, it would require custom animations. Either that, or you configure it as a humanoid with extra bones, and you just have to handle the animation of those extra bones. But for posing into Studio, that would work. So we technically already support that. You can import whatever and configure it. Given that it's configured properly, it's gonna work. Are you gonna have an official site for posting cards, scenes, etc.? Smoke?
Yes. We don't really have any announcement on that front at this point in time. For the time being, at least on launch in early access, Steam sharing. Sharing on Discord is probably the way to go. We are in talks with providers to provide a database website for it, but at this point in time, the talks are still immature, so we can't really go out with any details.
Is there an estimate on how large this game will be? Current builds are like what, alpha gig? Expect to be more or less in that ballpark for early access, so around 1 gigabyte. In the future, I don't know, but you can expect the usual 10-15 gigs. Probably even more. Depends on how much assets are we gonna pack and how well they will compress when we are starting to implement the main game.
Yeah, the main game will probably put up the size requirement quite a bit from what it is currently. A lot of 3D assets that needs to be put in for any kind of scenario.
Alongside lighting data.
Oh yeah, that as well. That takes space.
I know it's common sense, but please add the hide UI setting by default. As 21 said, it's already planned.
Yep. We have used competitor products. We know that it's subpar to be unable to hide the UI.
Video export, probably in the talks for when we have timeline. We will see what we can do. Should be possible though, one way or another.
Yeah. We have talked about it, but it's not on the current roadmaps. It is not pushed off the table though, so stay tuned.
Do you have plans in supporting terrains? Okay, so terrains as configured terrains in Unity, those can probably be supported. Terrains as meshes, well, if you have a big enough mesh, it would work. It's not the most optimal way. Terrains as a displaced mesh via custom shader. If you program your own shader, that will work anyways. And probably we will have something kind of like that at some point, but I don't know when. Will there something be like object import? Modding tools. You download Unity, you import our modding tools, you have everything there. There is documentation for how to do stuff. We will release tutorials on how to do it. You basically work with Unity just like we work with it.
Yeah, let me just shoot in the OBJ import thing for Koikatsu is kind of messy way to do it. For Red here, basically what it does is imports a OBJ file and saves it in the card.
Nope. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
we have a custom mod file format for one reason. We will use that.
Yeah. I get why that mod is a thing, and it's really neat at the face of it, but it creates really large scenes and is kinda a mess. So, yeah. I know it's a huge can of worms even for AAA studios, but what's the plan for handling hair displacement on hats? And they're insufferable to work with in KK, to the point where most people don't bother, as they either clip into the hair or are comically oversized.
Just like the extra layers in clothing, hiding them the same way we need a geometry hiding shader for hairs in that sense. So when one is fixed, the other is fixed as well. Just needs to be done. We are aware of the issue. We will see when we can slot those in. For example, the roadmaps we have posted today are generic, and as we come closer to each update, we will update you guys on more information on what's coming out, and we plan to keep hearing your opinions and suggestions and reorganize our priorities to us in a way that fits the community.
Yeah. Do keep in mind this roadmap is very subject to change. We are continually taking feedback as we go, and we'll probably need to make adjustments as we get feedback from you all.
Can someone post the YouTube channel link?
It's in the socials channel there. Yes. Any further questions?
Well, 2 people are writing.
Yeah, I see.
Does say anything on prices? The prices have been announced last time. They're in the
announcement channel. No, STN do not do these presentations. Yeah, Carl posted the prices. Thank you, Boko. Oh, it sounds like we're about to come to an end then.
Will there be any kind of physics for things like blankets? Blankets. That's gonna be very, very heavy on GPU if we plan to do a proper simulation. If we end up implementing something like that, it's gonna be at a later stage and probably as a toggle for only the highest end computers, because there is no way that a full-blown simulation would run at real-time frame rates unless you have like a beast computer. 4090 guys want some physics. Well, I'm a 4090 guy, but I'm more looking at the graphics than the physics at this point.
Yes, I think what I want is to have it actually fit to the object underneath it.
Yeah, that's very heavy to compute, especially for blankets.
So not in real time. If we do that, we're probably gonna need to have some setup for it, not real time adjustments.
I mean, guys, we're talking about stuff that is not real time in professional softwares. Asking that to run at real time in a game, it's like either we get extreme compromises or we don't do it in real time.
Yeah. We would love to do all of the magic, but some magic is just too arcane.
Yeah. Careful what you wish.
Indeed. People are writing, so let's hold for a second, see what's coming out.
Other way to export is so we can 3D print characters. Okay. So, well, technically, if you grab any of the 3D debuggers, you can just export whatever frame from whatever game. You can just then pass it into a program for preparing an STL, and then you can 3D print whatever frame for whatever game, but I haven't said you anything. Good luck.
Yes, sounds like we've reached a relatively natural end here. See what Beach Fan has to say, and then we'll wrap it. Will there be an improved way compared to KK to combine FK and IK, like setting, for example, IK for legs and FK for arms? Unsure if that's a new Red or 21. 21 is writing, so probably him.
21 is the one that has implemented the IK for now. But in general, once you post something using IK, if you switch to FK, the other stuff will not move, and you can then move FK.
Let's see what 21 has to say on the topic.
Yeah.
And currently have IK, adding FK is plan to make it work both at the same time.
Yep, the IK will have more than one node in for the back is so bad in KK. Well, that's up to 21 again.
Yeah. Unless 21 has something he wants to add to that comment, I think we're gonna reserve comment on that for the time being. Current IK system has IK point for hands, feet, knees, elbows, thighs, shoulders, and body. Yeah. Let's just wrap it on that point, I think.
21 is still
Unless
writing.
21 has more he wants to say. We're gonna set a line for questions there. Once 21 is done answering, we'll call it wraps. Again, Steam Workshop is subject to Valve approval. If we get approval for it, we will add it.
There you go. Adding more IK bonus is something we'll look into the future alongside FK support.
Yes. Well done. I think we'll call it quits there. Or we'll just get stuck in a just one more for the next 5 or 6 hours.
I'm not seeing the chorus coming from the audience asking for an encore, so I think we can wrap this up. And I guess we can just do ask ourselves a question to our audience here, in which what do you think about the frequency of these events?
If someone missed it, what do the audience think about the frequency of these stage arrangements? Yes.
Even more often. Well, Thousand Flowers, as soon as we are done with some of the more complicated stuff, you can probably expect to sometimes catch me sneakily coming into the voice chat and start streaming while I code some stuff. For the easier stuff that just requires just time and not a lot of thinking, I can probably go and do like live coding. So
yeah,
keep a look on the Discord.
Now then, let's call this stage. Thank you to everyone that showed up. Really appreciate your interest in the game. Do stay tuned and tell your friends. Just shove them up to the Steam page to press that add to wishlist button.